Welcome to the She Wins podcast. I'm your host, Heather Sumlin, and today I am interviewing Sydney Taylor. She is the current Miss Louisiana USA, and she was Miss Louisiana Teen USA back in 2020. We talk a little bit about her transition from teen to Miss, some of her sports experience. She's been a coach, she's been a player, and she's a fabulous human. I can't wait for you to get to know her. Sydney, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, I'm excited.
Okay, so tell everybody just a little bit about you.
So I grew up in Louisiana, born and raised, about 20 minutes from Baton Rouge. And growing up, I played sports. I played basketball and softball my whole life. So I spent every day going to practice, games, everything like that. Never did any pageant type of thing until I was 18. But so after high school, I went to LSU and I got my degree in accounting. And I actually had plans to go to law school, but I very recently decided it's not really the route that I wanted to go, and it's a lot of money to go to law school if you're not really sure. So I just got a job in Nashville doing sales, and I moved here this weekend. And so I'm on a little new journey, I guess.
Nice. Tell me about your pageant experience too.
So yeah, like I said, I never grew up doing anything in pageants, but when I was 18, I got a direct message on Instagram about doing the Miss Lafayette USA pageant or Teen USA pageant because I was still in teen. And I was like, absolutely not. I don't know anything about that. And so basically Lafayette is the prelim for Louisiana. And I was like, no way. My mom was like, I mean, just give it a shot. You know, you don't have much else going on. I was just getting ready for college. I was so used to having practice or something every single day. And I was like, gosh, I don't know what to do with myself. So my mom was like, just give it a try. And so I ended up doing Miss Lafayette Teen USA and I won. And so then I went to Miss Louisiana Teen USA and ended up winning that. And then went to Miss Teen USA in 2020. And after Miss Teen USA, I was like, all right, that was fun. That's it. Didn't think I would honestly come back. And then I guess 2-3 years later, got the little pageant bug again. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not try it while I'm still young? I just graduated college. It was a really good time I was taking a break between law school, which I thought I was going to do. And, so it was just a good time to come back and I ended up winning on my first try, which was a blessing. And so now I'm Miss Louisiana USA, just got back from Miss USA, almost 2 months ago now, which is crazy to think about that it's been that long. But it was really just an amazing experience, honestly.
So what's your biggest maybe memory so far from your pageant experience? Maybe favorite appearance or something that you've learned that's been really important to you?
Okay, my favorite appearance, probably throwing the first pitch at the LSU baseball game against Ole Miss. It was a big series. And like I said, I played softball growing up. So it was just really cool to be in front of that many people and doing something that I was used to doing. So that was a really cool experience. And then my favorite memory, it's actually a funny story. It was at Miss USA. My roommate was Miss Alabama, Diane, and she's like one of my best friends now. But so one night we were trying on our swimsuits. We have like a late swimsuit fitting because our swimsuits didn't work out. So we had to get new ones. And it was like 2 a.m. and we're trying on our swimsuits. Mine worked out. And so I was able to go back to the room and like start getting ready to go to bed. But Diane had to stay down because hers didn't fit right. So she was getting it altered. And I'm like going to get in the shower. I'm naked. And she calls me and says, hey, I don't have my key. Can you come open the door? So our hotel room has our bedroom door or like our hotel room door. But then right outside of that, probably like 10 feet further is another door. And there's 2 other rooms in this little hallway. And so you have to use your key to get in both of the doors. It's confusing. But so I opened the first door and I'm like, oh shoot, she's at the second door. And keep in mind, I'm just running, like scurrying around because I'm naked. And I was just like, well, I'll just open the door real quick and run back to the shower. So I opened the first door and then I go to open the second door and the first door closes. And so we're stuck out with no key. I am naked on the floor in a little ball because I'm like, what do we do? And so it was then also like right after the costume competition. So Diane had her bird costume with her and she had her new swimsuit. So I'm like, I literally sit there, but for like 30 seconds, we're in tears laughing. And I'm like, what are we going to do? And then we finally think of it. I'm like, okay, let me just put on your swimsuit so we can call the front desk. Cause we were like, how are we going to call the front desk if I'm out here naked? And so I don't know. It just ended up, it was so funny. And like, I guess to other people, it might not be as funny, but we were so delusional, and I don't think I'll ever forget that. It was so funny because it was just such a long day before that, and we were crying in tears laughing.
So you didn't even think to just grab a towel, you know?
No, because I was like, I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna scurry there, scurry back. I was
well,
not even thinking about the double door.
well, and modesty is not a thing in pageant. I think you know each other so well. You've seen everything. No big deal.
Yes,
Oh my goodness,
exactly.
that is kind of funny. So what
It was funny.
when you think about all of the things that you've done? So you've been in sports your whole life. You've done teen, and you did really well in teen. You were
Hmm.
was it second runner up?
I was
Teen
fourth
USA?
runner up.
Fourth runner. Well, see, I just want you to be up a couple of spots. Top five at Teen USA,
Mhm.
and then you've done really well in all of these things. So, how would you define winning? It doesn't have to be defined by outcome, but how would you define it?
Yeah. So, I guess before Miss USA this year, I would have defined winning as winning the pageant. Because I honestly was used to winning a lot because I put in a lot of work when I played sports. I really like put in the work that I needed to put in, and we won a state championship. My senior year, we ended up getting upset, and that like was really hard. But and then Teen USA, when I went to my very first pageant, my second pageant, I won those, and then I got top five at Teen USA, and so I was just really like honestly, I'm trying to say this as humbly as I can, but I was used to winning. And
Hmm.
so I never really had the um, feeling of working really hard for something and then not achieving it until Miss USA this year. I worked really hard, and I honestly went in thinking that I had a good chance at making the top 20, and I didn't make the top 20. But stepping back afterwards, I realized how much I gained from the experience. Like just working on my interview with you and my other interview coaches, I realized how much it helped me because, like I said, I just got a new job and I did a million interviews because I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
After law, like not going to law school, I was kind of like a lost coin. So I was interviewing for plenty of different random jobs, and it really showed me that no matter that I didn't get the top 20 or make the top 20, I gained so much from the experience in that regard. But then I also gained like lifelong friends. Like I said, Alabama, she is, sorry, I kicked the table. She's one of my best friends. And then just so many of the other girls, we just got really close. And so I gained a lot more than just making the top 20 would have gotten me. And so that's how I define winning now is just seeing an outcome, even if it's not the outcome you were expecting for, just being able to see improvement in yourself and maybe a different outcome, but successful outcome.
You also coached, right? So you were
Yeah.
coaching, was it a high school
Yes,
team?
I was coaching a high school team, and the high school team that I was coaching has four D1 commits on it. They are also very good. So like another place where I just wasn't used to losing. Like we were a very good team. They were a very good team, and so it was just different.
So, what's the difference for you from participating versus coaching? Which do you prefer and why?
Um, I honestly really like coaching because I feel like I have an impact on these girls outside of sports and make connections with them. I was coaching my younger sister, so I got to be around her and it was a lot of fun. Playing, though, you have kind of the control of the outcome or you have control of the hard work that you put in. I can't necessarily control my players or make them put in the extra work. But luckily, I had players that wanted to put in the extra work and wanted to be good, similar to like the mindset that I had when I was playing, and so it made coaching a lot of fun.
So, did you play in college too?
No, I didn't.
Do
I
you?
decided not to. I was gonna go play at a smaller school in Louisiana, but I they didn't have the program that I wanted to go to into college, which I started in engineering. Crazy. I'm not in engineering anymore, obviously, but they didn't have engineering, and I was like, I kind of just wanted to start, like, be a sorority girl out of college and just do normal stuff.
So, you started in engineering, you switched to accounting, and now you're in sales.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to use your accounting degree, you think? Or you just really
Um,
want to enjoy something
I
more with people?
I feel like it's so useful to have, even though I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily being an accountant. I'm not against it. If a job opportunity was to come up, I would do it. I just kind of ended up in sales with what the opportunities I was presented. but it's so useful to have an accounting degree because it taught me lessons that I didn't necessarily learn in high school or college that I can use for my own finances and just managing money and things like that. So I definitely think it's still useful to have, and I'll probably use aspects of it regardless of what I end up doing. But no, I won't be doing accounting right now.
Has there been a moment in your life that you feel like that experience defined you?
Which experience?
A time in your life where you had a defining moment. Can you think of something?
Um, I don't think so.
It might be not making top 20 at Miss USA.
It could be when I look back at it. It might just be too like fresh to look at it and be like I'm looking back on it because it's still so recent. But it really could be because it was just a time after Miss USA where I was like, well, I don't really think I want to go to law school if I'm being
Mm.
honest with myself. And so what am I going to do? And pageants are done or not done because I'm still Miss Louisiana USA, but like competing is done. And I was like, I was kind of lost for a little while. So I guess it would have been a defining moment. I feel so much better now and so much,
Mm.
I feel like I've kind of gotten my life together, figured things out. I moved. And so I feel a lot better now, but I would probably look back next year and be like, wow, that was a very defining moment.
What do you want to do for the rest of your time as Miss Louisiana? Even though you're in Nashville, but what do you want to do in order to finish out your year?
I want to keep doing the events that are more like helpful to my community, more service events. And I do live in Nashville now, but I am pretty much going home every single weekend to do events. So I'm not just like completely abandoning my title, but next weekend I'm doing a parade in my hometown for our fair that I'm excited about. And then I'm doing an event at LSU football game the weekend after that. And so I'll be home pretty much every weekend, but I'll try and balance it out with working here and then going back on the weekends.
So, going back to your coaching experience, what's something that you wish that every high school player, no matter what sport, understood?
Mhm. Um, that no matter your age, no matter your experience, you still have to put in the work and you still have to continue to get better every day and improve, and you're not going to be given anything. I think a lot of our generation is very entitled and thinks that who your parents are, who what you've done in the past, or your experiences, just anything is going to just get you a spot, or you're not going to have to work as hard as everybody else or earn it. And I think whenever someone's not playing, it's easy to be like, oh, the coach is terrible or blame it on somebody else. But I think the biggest thing is take accountability for your work ethic and put in the work that you have to put in to make it where there's no question whether you should be playing or not. And there's no question whether you should be where you want to be. And so I think that would be the easiest thing is work hard and take accountability for your work.
So, how did you handle it if your players weren't giving you all that they could?
Um, Honestly, I'm not a big yeller.
Mm. I
I'm
sense
more
that.
of a talker. I'll talk through it with them. I'll talk through. I'll say like what's going on. I'll tell them my opinion, and if they want to listen, then they'll get their playing time. They'll get rewarded for it if they put in their extra work. But it's their choice if they want to listen or not. So I don't really feel like yelling is always the best way to get your message across. But that's just me.
Has there ever been a piece of advice that you've been given that you feel like has made a big impact on you or that's helped you in your journey?
Um, I would say talent beats, wait. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was told that when I was in seventh grade and I was on the high school softball team, and there was a lot of talented girls, but I wanted to put in the work and I ended up like earning a spot in seventh grade on the high school team. And so, I just took that with me through every aspect of life from, playing to coaching to pageants, Miss Teen USA to Miss USA. I would always think about that because there was girls who had been doing pageants their whole life. They had been doing interview practices their whole life. But I knew that if I continued to push and work hard, but also continue being myself and staying true to who I was, then I'd be okay. So I guess that was it.
So, most girls in pageantry have a platform of some sort. What's your platform? And tell us a little bit about what you've done with it.
So my platform is raising money and collecting equipment for kids in sports who just don't have the financial ability or advantage that some others have. I was very fortunate for my parents to be able to provide all of that to me. But when I started coaching, I realized that there is a need for that. And I had some players on my team who had so much potential and so much ability, but they didn't really have the resources that they needed. And so whenever I won Miss Lafayette USA, I'm at the prelim for Miss Louisiana, I was thinking what my platform could be because before that, I advocated for veterans, which I still advocate for veterans. I still love doing stuff with veterans, events with veterans, but it wasn't necessarily something where I was like, I feel like I have to do this. I really want to do this, and I really want to like. It was kind of more of like that's an easy thing for me to relate to. It's an easy thing for me to do. And so whenever I started thinking about this, I was like, wow, that's something I'm like very passionate about. I believe sports in our youth, it can shape you into the person that you're going to be when you're an adult. It really does so much for you. It's helpful to be on the team, to play team sports, to learn all those lessons. And so realizing that not everyone could do that just because of being held back by financial aspects or anything, it just kind of like hurt me. And I really put something in me where I wanted to do that. And so I've done events in my community where I collect equipment from other people. I'll clean it up, make sure that it's like up to standards to where someone else can use it. But people have been donating equipment to me, and then I'll go and hand it out at like rec ballparks, so like recreational leagues and stuff like that. And it's honestly done really well. I've been able to help a lot of kids, and to see their faces when they walk in and see the sign that says free equipment, they're always like, Mom, it's free, it's free. And they come and get their bat and they practice swinging it. It's just really cute and sweet. And it like warms my heart every single time I'm able to do it. So I think that's how I found my purpose in it.
So you are now in Nashville. What are you going to do to bring a little Louisiana into Tennessee?
I'm learning how to cook. So I'm trying to learn how to cook the Louisiana food so I can like give it to my new friends. So like gumbo whenever it's winter, jambalaya, crawfish etouffee, sauce piquant. I'm gonna try and learn how to do some of that stuff so that I can bring that with me even though I'm not at home anymore. My mom said for now though she'll freeze me some every time she cooks it, so I can just warm it up.
Oh, I like that. What do you miss, or what do you think you're gonna miss from home? Besides the food, obviously.
My family. So I'm so used to being right there. Even though I went to college, I moved away 25 minutes to Baton Rouge from our small hometown. So I was always right there. And if I wanted to go home for dinner, I could just go home for dinner. If I wanted to go to my sister's softball game or basketball game, I could go. And so I think that's going to be the hardest part, is not necessarily being right there where I can just go home. It's a little farther. So that's going to be tough for me to adjust to, but I think I'll be okay with FaceTime for now.
What advice would you have for people who want to get involved in pageantry and they don't know where to start? You were someone who wasn't a pageant girl. You were a sports girl your whole life. Give some advice there.
I would say just do it because, like I said, I didn't do anything, like you said, beforehand. I'd never done any kind of pageants. I'd never done any kind of modeling, interviews, nothing. When I played sports, I was more of like the leader by example, not necessarily the vocal leader. So I really never had to talk much or get out of my shell. And so pageants really did that for me. And it was a huge thing that they did for me, was get me out of my shell, learn how to communicate, learn how to interview. So I would say there's a lot of benefit to doing it, and you just kind of have to do it. You have to trust yourself and say, I'm going to put in the work, and then just start it. I would say start at a local prelim. It's much easier than it's less overwhelming than just going to state for the first time. If you start at a prelim and you end up winning, you have so many assets for whenever you compete at state. And then if anybody else, like if you want to get started or you don't know what to do, DM me. I would love to help because I know the feeling. I know how stressful it is to go into your first pageant, not knowing anyone or really much about it. So I'd love to help anybody who needs it.
What's your Instagram handle?
It's at Sydney Taylor. So my name's Sydney Taylor, but it's just Sydney Taylor without the R.
If you could describe the transition from sports to pageantry and maybe the transformation, how would you describe it?
It's more about yourself. than it was when I played sports. So I played team sports. I guess there are some sports where you are competing solo, but I played team sports. And so the biggest thing was just realizing that it was all on me. And so with my team, it was there were still some things I couldn't control. I couldn't control if my teammate wanted to work hard, or I couldn't control every single thing about the team. I just had to trust in it and work with other people. But pageants, it's all you. So it's all your hard work, seeing yourself do put in the work and seeing it pay off for yourself. It's just a different feeling. I wouldn't necessarily say I like one more than the other though. I really liked working with a team and seeing everybody's goals pay off at once. But then I really liked also knowing that I controlled every aspect of my preparation or every aspect of how far I went in it. And so I guess there was just upsides to both and downsides to both.
Okay, so yeah, I know you didn't make top 20, but you were recognized as the winner of an opportunity. So you got
Mhm.
to walk in New York Fashion Week, right, for Sherry Hill?
Yes, I did.
How was that experience?
It was awesome. So I actually knew before Miss USA that I was going to be getting to do that. I whenever I designed my dress at Sherry Hill in Austin, she had asked me if I wanted to do it, and so I was really excited. I didn't know that they were going to announce it or anything, so I wasn't even like near the camera backstage. I had no idea, but it was just really cool to get the recognition because I really wasn't in the final show, but to for them to say that, and then my family got to hear it, and they got to be like, "Oh, woohoo, go Sydney!" It was really cool, and but then the experience itself was awesome too. I got to go to New York. I stayed in a hotel with Miss Nevada, and we got to go to the show. Walked in the show. We did rehearsals. And there was a lot of really cool people there. So Kelsey from The Bachelor, I think she was on The Bachelor, and
Mhm.
she ended up getting engaged to Joey, The Bachelor. And she was walking, and she was right beside me. So I got to talk to her, and we're both from Louisiana. So it was just really cool to meet all those cool people who you kind of like look up to or you fangirl over, and just get to like hang out with them and be like, wow, I'm doing the same thing as them right now. I'm walking just like her. And so it was a really cool experience.
Do you plan to continue to model?
Yes. So I signed with an agency in Nashville, the Block Agency. And so I have already gotten a few jobs here, and I'm excited about the future in that.
Ooh, that's so exciting. It's funny because I met you. Wait, how old were you when you won Louisiana Teen?
I was
18?
18.
18? So that's when I
Mhm.
met you because I sponsored Miss the RPM. So I sponsored
Yeah.
Louisiana. And so I got to talk to you then, get to know you then, and then you turn around, you're a miss. So then I get to talk to you
Mhm.
again. And the one thing that I was sad about is y'all didn't get your retreat this year because of the way that the timing worked, where you won and then there's a very short amount of turnaround. So how was
Mhm.
that different? Because you had a much more time to prepare from state to nationals as a teen than you did as a miss. So what was that difference like for you?
It was stressful because I didn't necessarily get to do the retreat. I didn't get necessarily have the preparation that I had for teen. With teen, it got delayed even further because of COVID, and so
Mm-hmm.
I had almost a year and a half to prepare after I won for teen. And so all the time in the world, I felt like it was never going to actually get here. And then this time, it really snuck up on me. And my costume, I was finishing my costume the day before I left for LA, and so I just never felt like fully prepared for this one. But we did get to go to Washington D.C. As the Miss,
Mm-hmm.
so North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana. We got to go to Washington D.C. We were hosted by one of the RPM judges, and he got to show us around. We got to talk to our congressmen and women, and honestly, that prepared me a lot for Miss USA because I mean, speaking to those important people, and I was talking about my platform, so it really just got me in the mode for interview beforehand, and it was like 2 weeks before Miss USA, so that really helped. And then it was helpful to be able to like bond with the girls and already have friends going into Miss USA. That's kind of what the retreat does. And so even though we didn't get to have our teams there, it was really nice for us to get together and do those things, and then also get to bond.
Do you miss playing sports all the time?
Um, Not all the time actually. I like the freedom that comes with not playing sports. When I got hurt my senior year, that's kind of when I realized that I was like, whoa, I guess sports aren't everything because I went from playing every single day practice every single day to not doing anything. I wasn't able to do anything. And so that's when I first realized that's kind of when I stopped wanting to play in college and first realized there is more to life than sports out there.
What happened? How'd you hurt yourself?
So I was at basketball practice. I landed on another girl's foot and hurt my ankle. And so I was recovering for, it was like a 6 months recovery. And then I did the other one. My very first game back, I was jumping for a rebound and landed on a girl's foot, basically the same exact thing on my other ankle. And so I ended up being out for about a year. And it was really hard for me because, like I said, I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to not having anything going on.
It's like your first time on the sidelines.
Yeah, I was like a cheerleader for a little while. And I mean, it taught, like, those kind of things really teach you lessons that you don't expect. And so I got to realize how it was just sitting there and cheering and wanting the best for your team, helping the team in other ways. Like, any way I could, I would go get the water bottles in my boot. I mean, anything I could do because I just wanted to see the team succeed because I knew how hard they worked. I'd been there working hard with them. So just a different aspect.
So say a little something to whoever it is that you're going to crown. What advice do you have for her?
I would say make the most of your year and don't let Miss USA be everything because there's so much more to it. It's so easy to get caught up in preparing for Miss USA that you forget that you're still Miss Louisiana. And so you still have that title. And then after Miss USA, it was easy to forget, like, oh, that's over. It was easy to just be like, what do I do now? But you're still Miss Louisiana USA. You still have a voice and impact in your state. And so even if you don't win Miss USA, keep pushing and keep doing those events because it's still special to be Miss Louisiana USA.
So if someone wants to book you while you're still Miss Louisiana USA, how do they reach you, through Instagram, or is there another way to reach you?
So since RPM is not our directors anymore, their website has been removed. And so people have been clicking the email button in my bio on Sydney Taylor's, my personal Instagram, because it also shut down our title holder Instagrams. So everything's going through my personal Instagram. If you want to book, just push the email button in my bio and just send me an email. What the event is, pretty much anything I'm willing to do. I really just want to help my state out. Like I said, ideally it would be on weekends, but if I'm able to make the trip down, like I'm able to get off work, I would love to. So any event or anything you think I would be valuable at, just email me.
Yeah, you can speak, you can sign autographs, you can be there to network, small talk, whatever somebody needs. So reach out to your Instagram, DM you, or send you an email. Sounds good. No, real quick, since you mentioned, obviously we're getting some new directors at some point in time. That has not been announced yet. Correct. So right now you are running the show by yourself.
Yes, it is very weird because RPM is amazing about handling all of that kind of stuff. Usually you would put in an appearance request on the website and they would decide, like, is this credible or whatever, and they would do all of that for you. I would just show up. And so it's very different from my teen experience or even earlier this year whenever they were doing it for us. But so I'm very thankful that it makes me see things from a different perspective. I'm like, wow, they were doing a lot. But it hasn't been bad though. Doing it myself really necessarily hasn't been overwhelming. But definitely more grateful for what they were doing, realizing how much it was.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard to run a competition and then also to make sure that your girls have a safe and wonderful experience. And I've loved RPM. I'm sad to see them go. I'm excited for your future though. And I can't wait to follow along and see where you go in modeling, in sales, accounting, maybe one day, possibly law school. Who knows what Sydney's going to do. Thank you so much for spending time with me, Sydney.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And if you're not a Patreon member, join my Patreon membership. I'm going to talk to Sydney about how was she so successful in pageant? What are things that she did that made her a little bit, edge out the competition? We'll find out.